大家好，欢迎来到区块先生的人物放大镜。我们今天很高兴的能请到 Kelp DAO 的创始人 Amitej 呢，来聊聊 Kelp DAO 跟他是如何在这里面做一个新的这个 LRT 的这个协议，然后呢，如何呢在 Eigen Layer 里面呢，做一个这个 AVS 这个执行者的角色哦。好，那在开始之前，我要提醒大家，加密货币投资非常高风险的一件事情。如果你不懂的话，绝对不要乱碰。今天讲的不是任何的金融建议。Cryptocurrency investment is really high risk. So if you don't understand it, please don't touch anything said today. It's not a financial advice. So let's welcome Amitej from Kelp DAO. Amitej.
Hi, Mr. Block. Thanks a lot for having me on the show.
Awesome.
Hey,
can you do
it.
Thank you. Can you do a quick intro about yourself? And, what project have you built? What's your background?
Yeah. So as my name is Amit. I'm one of the co-founders of Kelp DAO. Kelp DAO is a liquid restaking platform with over 220K ETH, which is roughly about $750 million in TVL today. We just launched about a few months ago, I think roughly in December. So Kelp is an LRT platform built on top of EigenLayer that accepts LSTs, including ST ETH, ETHX, SFRX ETH, as well as native ETH. And users can simply restake their LSTs or ETH, take a receipt token called RSETH, and they can use it across multiple DeFi opportunities. We are live on mainnet, as well as several L2s. Users can restake their ETH natively across Arbitrum, Blast. Soon we are also launching on 5+ L2s, including Scroll, Optimism, Mode, Base, etc.
Okay, and what about yourself? What's your background like? What was the original reason that you came into crypto, and any previous experience before Kelp?
Yeah, so I'm also one of the co-founders of Stater Labs. Stater Labs is a $700 million LST platform, the biggest platform on Polygon. We have 150 million Matic staked with us, and also $400 million of Ethereum staked with us. We have over 50+ DeFi and ecosystem partnerships across Aave, Compound, Ledger, MetaMask, etc. And so we've been building Stater for the past 2 years. Before this, I actually originally come from India. Went to the top schools, IIT and IIM in India. Worked with some of the largest strategy consulting firms like A.T. Kearney, and also worked with Swiggy, one of the top food tech players in India, before getting into crypto.
Got it. And, I think for some of the viewers, they might not understand, what's going on with LRT. All they really know is that it gives you a lot of magical internet money that will appear. And, when there are yields and when there are extra money, people are happy about it. But can you explain a little bit, about EigenLayer and AVS and how is it making everyone, I guess, more money?
Yeah. So for those of you who are not familiar with staking, proof of stake networks like Ethereum, Solana, etc., they actually get validators or users pledge capital, and that capital is used as a security to run the blockchain. If the validators do not perform well, their staked Ethereum or staked Solana is penalized or slashed. And if they perform well, nothing happens and they continue to earn rewards. That is the reason why users stake their assets. Now, platforms like EigenLayer, what they have done is there is this already existing billions of dollars of staked security, and they have created a new use case called restaking. Now, what does restaking mean? So they actually take this existing staked assets, either staked Ethereum or LSTs, and use it to secure a new application or a new L2 or a completely different infrastructure, right? Why is this efficient and effective? Is because, one, for the users, they are using their existing staked assets, which are already earning staking rewards, to earn further rewards, which is restaking rewards. this is useful for services that require this security, because now they can give a little bit of small amount of rewards on top of Ethereum staking rewards and borrow this billions of dollars of security. So platforms like EigenLayer solve both the problems for the users in generating extra rewards, and problems for these applications that need a very high amount of economic security.
Now, who are some of these applications? Are like Chainlink, I would assume, data availability, and so on?
There are several applications, including data availability layer. Like, for example, EigenLayer is building their own DA layer or DA application. There are several other applications like roll-up as a service platforms like AltLayer and decentralized sequencer type of platforms like Espresso. Multiple other platforms like cross-chain messaging/bridging platform like Omni. Watchtower infrastructure platforms like Watchtower, Witness Chain, etc. Right? So there are several applications. There are some Oracle applications as well that are being built.
And as we understand, for a Ethereum validator to run, they need around 32 ETH, right? And then they have to be, I think, 75% or 85% uptime. So does that mean that through EigenLayer, they will use these, downtime to do something else? So for example, if it requires 80% uptime, then they can take out 10 or 20% to do something else. Is that how it works?
No, so they have to be operational, or they have to be validating every time. In addition to Ethereum staking software, they also need to run an extra software that helps them validate on the other service, like an AWS.
So essentially, it's like you teach math, but at the same time, you will start teaching English if you're a validator. And then you earn extra reward by teaching English while you're still getting ready to teach math.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So you do multiple things at the same time.
And why is, Vitalik and they're afraid that this could jeopardize the security of Ethereum?
Yeah. So I think it's important for us to categorize risks into multiple segments. One is the risks to the users. The other one is risk to the entire ecosystem, right? Risks to the users are known risks, right? Because when their staked Ethereum is restaked on EigenLayer, there are two major risks. One is the smart contract risk of EigenLayer and the associated AVS. The other one is the slashing risks, which are primarily because of the validator performance or non-performance, as well as any conditions imposed by the AVSs. Right. So we know that smart contract risks are finite, right? That's the core expertise of crypto, and we all need to learn how to build better smart contracts with minimal attack surface area. Those can be mitigated by proactively auditing the smart contracts, as well as taking precautions like monitoring, etc. The other thing is slashing risks. Even these can be minimized by having delegations or restaking done to the high quality node operators that have good reputation as well as long history of operating validators. Right. So these are finite risks. Now, people like Vitalik, they're primarily talking about the risk to the entire ecosystem. Let's say if something goes wrong with any of the AVS or EigenLayer itself, the whole the premise that the fundamental thing that Vitalik mentioned in his paper is, hey, if the entire smart contracts go for a toss and people lose money, don't put entire Ethereum in an obligation to fork the network.
They're saying this could be as big as the first DAO hack, where during that time, 80% of the ETH was in one protocol, and when it got hacked, it requires a fork or reorg, right? And obviously now around 10% is an EigenLayer, I think, or is it less?
Yes, it's lesser than that.
Yeah,
about 13, 14 billion.
Got it. And but obviously it will grow a lot bigger. And I guess I'm also wondering, right? Do you see other EigenLayer competitor where where it could be in the future, and then Kelp and most of these other LRD protocol could also work with another eigen alternative that could make it a bit more safer, because you can only really improve when there are competitors, right?
Yep. So definitely, I do think there will be some competition in the future, including potentially eigenlayer type of protocols on Ethereum. There could be other protocols like Babylon, etc., that are doing it on Bitcoin. There will be protocols on Solana as well. So there could be multiple applications that will be built.
Got it. And another question I have is, when we look at most of these validators, they're right now based on AWS and GCP cloud services, right? And not any more brick and mortar like we see back then. Do you see this as a potential issue where, essentially Amazon and Google control most of these validators on top of it, right? That if they want to shut down, they could. So maybe there might be a future where people start running, similar to Solana Saga, people start running these validators on their small devices, that it's harder to be shut down.
Yep. I do think that soon there will be several other iterations coming up, including validation on mobile phones or smaller devices. But it's a question of decentralization, right? As we move away from some of these large platforms like AWS or GCP, or for that matter, Azure, etc., the platform or the infrastructure becomes a lot more censorship resistant.
Got it.
And more resilient, right? Because in case AWS goes down, there will be a huge network outage and a lot of validators will go offline. Hence, we probably also need multiple instances of these, or some of these validators being run on bare metal servers at home.
Yeah, because I would assume, back then it doesn't make sense, because running a validator only earned finite amount of the reward. But then now with all these LRT protocol, it might actually be, possible to run these small device that essentially get extra rewards. Because if we look at how Solana airdrop rewards to Saga holder, there's a huge incentive for having Saga 2 phone, because you get all these airdrop and rewards. So essentially, we could have a bunch of people run these small device validator that are getting extra reward, not because they do more work, but because they're being more decentralized. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep, that makes sense.
Let's come back to RSETH, and then we see that it has multiple integration, and then and I want to focus more specifically on the benefit for restaker, for AVS and operator. Can you talk a bit about these interaction and how these different, I would say, stakeholder intertwine?
Yeah. So basically, let me just talk through the user flow, right? So when users restake their LSTs or Ethereum with Kelp DAO, we give them a token called RSETH. Now, what Kelp DAO does with the smart contract that holds these assets is it restakes those assets on eigenlayer and provides them as security, economic security for other applications. On the user side, he doesn't have to worry about which applications, etc., or which validators that Kelp DAO uses underneath, because that is the prerogative of the DAO. And then Kelp token holders in the future will be able to whitelist the operators and also the AVSs that we will be restaking our assets with. All users need to worry about is they hold this RSETH. Now they can do a bunch of they can do a lot of DeFi activities with this RSETH. Like, for example, collateralizing this RSETH on lending markets, or providing liquidity for RSETH ETH or RSETH stablecoin pairs on DEXs. So these are the things users need to, users can do with RSETH. What happens underneath is obviously the assets will be restaked with validators, and validators will be serving some of these AVSs.
And just for viewers' understanding, can you explain what is AVS and what are these operators?
Yeah. So first thing is operators. Operators are nothing but node operators that run validators. So these typically with Kelp are high quality operators, professional and well-known ones like Kiln, All Nodes, Pigment. We're also onboarding a few other professional node operators like Luca Nodes, etc. These are the main operators that we have, and their specialty is running validators, right? And beyond that, the AVS means actively validated services. These are the applications that are using EigenLayer's economic security.
Okay, got it. And are they getting, for a user perspective, they wouldn't have to worry about, I guess, who's running the operator, or are we making it a bit more decentralized here? Because that was one of the issue of Lido, where users feel like Lido could be a bit too centralized. What are some of the effort that's been done and done differently to make it more decentralized here?
So I think one of the things that we can introduce in the future, once EigenLayer's firstly, we will choose more than 5 or 10 operators to validate on the network, so that the ETH is decentralized and distributed. Second thing is, in the future, as EigenLayer's economic models and slashing conditions become clearer, we can have any operator join permissionlessly and validate on the network.
Got it. So it seems to me that there's a lot of money on the line, but everyone's kind of waiting on Eigen's next move.
Yep.
And okay. And Kelp also introduced something really interesting, which is being able to trade Eigen points. And no one else has done that. I mean, there's Pendo with YT and PD that people can speculate, but you guys actually put a price and created a pool. What's the thinking behind that, and how is that doing right now?
It's doing very well. There are about, I think we have about 230 or probably 250 million EigenLayer points that are earned by our users. And as of yesterday, there were 35 or 40 million EigenLayer points which are kept earned by Kelp. They were claimed by the users. And there are a couple of pools, one on Balancer and Uniswap, where users are trading these Kelp tokens. It's a very innovative thing. We wanted to solve for lack of liquidity for EigenLayer coins on chain. And we designed this mechanism where every week the earned points will be available for users to claim.
And these are ERC20 representative of their Eigen points. And does that mean that once Eigen has finally decided to do airdrop, user can use these points, these tokens, to come to Kelp and withdraw their token?
Yep.
Got it.
As in like whatever rewards that we get from EigenLayer will be given to the Kelp token holders as well. If they don't claim, they directly get the EigenLayer rewards.
Is there a potential? Because we know that the other bigger platform that has kind of started these point system is Blast, and Blast made it, I think, really clear that if people trade Blast points, you could be penalized. Could this be a potential with Eigen, or have they again, say nothing about it?
We've consulted with the EigenLayer team on this one. And only after consultation we have launched this.
Got it. And I guess, what are some of the challenges that you see right now with the overall RRT market and also for Kelp DAO?
So I mean, not major challenges. One of the big things is basically the space is still very, very young. It's just a few months old. A lot of things are evolving. EigenLayer infrastructure is being built, and then according to that, we also have to sort of synchronize our development efforts. So all coordination across multiple stakeholders in the ecosystem is definitely challenging. Now you have LRTs going to L2s as well. Across these L2s, we have to I mean, there is a lot of operational overhead in terms of taking snapshots and making the points available across the L2s. So all of this is like a lot of operational overhead. Some of the other challenges in the future, as of today, at least, EigenLayer team has mentioned that for the first 6 months, there won't be any major any slashing conditions applicable on AVSs. But then after that, how will these slashing conditions evolve? What would be the risk to users' restaked assets? All of these are unknowns today. And these things have to be rebuilt or coded into the platform so that users' capital is at risk. Those are the major challenges that we grapple with as of today.
Got it. So, you know how like, so I guess Steader also support Menta for staking, right? And support many other POS protocol. Do you foresee a future where, Kelp DAO will not only support Ethereum, which is the main thing that EigenLayer is doing, but also start supporting, native restaking on, other protocol and other platform that is non-EVM? Yeah.
It's possible. We are already doing tech due diligence across Bitcoin restaking as well as Solana restaking and multiple other platforms.
And how does Bitcoin restaking work, though? How does Bitcoin restaking work? Yeah.
So it's more of a Bitcoin staking rather than restaking. Today, there are no native yields on Bitcoin, right? Now, there are platforms like Babylon, etc., that want to use this Bitcoin that is available to actually provide economic security to other applications that want this. And for doing it, users can earn for staking their Bitcoin. Users can actually earn their extra restaking rewards.
Got it. And I guess also there are multiple L2 on Bitcoin now that also takes Bitcoin as a way to farm their airdrop. So they could essentially farm multiple airdrop. Okay. And let's talk a bit about like the fee structure. Yeah. What are some of the fee within Kelp DAO?
So today we don't charge any fees to the users. In the long term, we will charge 10% of staking rewards as fees.
Got it. And does that goes to Kelp DAO holder or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it will go to the Kelp DAO treasury, but then with obviously Kelp DAO, we will have a token called Kelp, and Kelp token will have several utilities, and one such utility is providing slashing insurance against any kind of slashing events on EigenLayer. This in a simple way, the way it works is users stake their Kelp tokens, and these Kelp tokens will be used as an insurance against any type of slashing events. And for doing this, users will earn a percentage of protocol fees.
Got it. And is there a potential where Kelp will launch its own L2 since now everyone is doing L2?
So there are several long-term strategic directions we are thinking. One is expanding to cross assets and doing liquid restaking across these multiple assets like Bitcoin or Solana. The other thing that we are actively working on is building an EigenLayer equivalent on Solana. That's the second direction that we are working on. And a few other things that we are actively diligencing is things like building a differentiated AVS, etc. So L2 is not something that we are actively thinking about right now.
Got it. So more onto integration and try to get our RSF essentially everywhere. And that's kind of the main reason why,
No, what I mean is expand. Yeah. What I mean by expansion is building liquid restaking on platforms like Babylon Solana and other Bitcoin restaking platforms or Solana type of platforms. Yes.
Got it. So not only RSF, it will be like RSO, RSBTC, and so on. Got it. And would Kelp also build their own, I guess, EigenLayer equivalent on Solana, or they will have to work with an EigenLayer equivalent there?
That's what we are doing a tech due diligence on.
Got it. Are there any projects? I mean, I actually don't know if there are any eigenlayer equivalent on Solana. Is there any?
There is none at the moment. I think there are a couple of players that I'm not fully familiar with.
Got it. That's really exciting, man. We've done this interview with many other protocol, and most of them are just on Ethereum and focusing on ETH. Some potentially are doing BNB, but I think the approach that Kelp is doing is actually very innovative and in a way that you guys kind of foresee the future and where these extra yields, and because essentially kind of goes back to DeFi, like in the early days with yield aggregators such as YEarn, kind of help user to compound their yields. So essentially this adds not only more value to ETH holder, but also more security, right? Because essentially they can earn more yields and are more willing to hold these assets. The same thing you're recreating for Bitcoin holder and for Solana holder. And I mean, man, even Mentot holder, right? And you guys have such a strong relationship with them as well. And these all equals to more fee and more value for Kelp DAO token holder.
Yep, that's right.
Got it. Awesome. And, I think we are about to wrap up here. A lot of really good information. And what are some last words that you would like to say to, the Chinese speaking community? And then what can they do next? We have already done a few Kelp DAO tutorial videos. A lot of people have stayed in. What are some of the stuff they can do and expect from Kelp DAO? Yeah.
Absolutely. Firstly, thanks a lot for watching the show. There are several things you can do with Kelp DAO. Kelp DAO's RSE today. You can restake on directly or natively on Arbitrum, Blast, soon on several L2s like Scroll, Mode, ZK Sync, etc. And apart from just restaking, you can provide LP on balancer pool. We're giving 3x the Kelp miles and 1x eigenlayer points. And there are several Pendle pools on mainnet as well as on Arbitrum where users are getting, I think, up to 60% APR on their RSE deposits LP or on their RSE LP. Yeah. There are hundreds of millions of dollars of capital that has gone into that Pendle type of platforms. Beyond that, for new restakers, we are starting a campaign in a few hours where every ETH that is restaked with Kelp DAO gets 100 eigenlayer points for the first 30K ETH. And we are giving away 5 million eigenlayer points.
And where do you guys get these eigenlayer points from?
So we bought them from our treasury.
Oh, wow.
We have them in our treasury.
Nice. And so one last thing, you mentioned about Scroll, Blast, and Arbitrum, right? So let's say I hold RSF and then I bridge it to Blast. And do I have to stake it to anywhere to continue to earn the Kelp points and eigen points, or do I just simply hold it and that's already helping me earn you?
Yeah, users can just hold them there.
Okay.
That is already giving them eigenlayer points as well as Kelp points.
So track their wallet. Okay, got it.
Yes.
So that's super user friendly. So essentially, as long as they hold it, can they go into some of the lending protocol and some of the other DeFi protocol?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes. So for example, on Arbitrum, we have Pendle pool live. We have Dex's liquidity on Dex's live across Camelot and Ramses. On Blast, we have our pool live on Thruster and Hyperlocker. We're also working with several lending markets to enable lending and borrowing also. There are several things that people can do with instead of just holding RSE passively, they can also participate in a lot of DeFi activities as well.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much for your time, Amit. And 那我们今天的影片就到这里，很感谢今天 Kelp DAO 的 co-founder Amit 来到我们的活动来介绍 Kelp DAO 跟整个 AVS 的生态。最后想提醒大家，加密货币投资非常高风险的一件事情，如果你不懂的话，绝对不要乱碰。今天讲的不是任何的金融建议。感谢 Amit。Thank you, Amit. See you.
Thank you, Mr. Block. Thanks a lot, everyone. Bye.
Goodbye.